It's a pretty light consent agenda this month. We have an inmate labor contract ratification, opioid settlement project ordinance, transportation authority combined capital grant application, meeting minutes. And at this time, I would entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as it was presented to us.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hensley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Consent agenda is approved. Item number 3 this evening is public comment. We've got some folks that have signed up for public comment tonight. I will go in order. So if you would please, when I call your name, please come to the podium because that's where the microphone is. We want everybody watching at home to be able to hear you. So if you would please come to the podium, state your name and the community that you're representing, and we would greatly appreciate your assistance in that. Everyone will be limited to 3 minutes, and our clerk is the timekeeper. When the 3 minutes are up, we will ask you politely to curtail your discussion at that time. So up first is Brad Guth as official capacity as president of Rotary of Madison County tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I am Brad Guth, and I'm here regarding our Rotary Club in Madison County, which is a little different hat than I typically wear. But Rotary International is a global organization with over 1 million people of action dedicated to humanitarian service, high ethical standards, and building goodwill. Our local club has 60 community leaders. It has been a vital part of this community for 20 years, over 20 years, and addressing various local needs and challenges. July is our new year for Rotary, and in the past year, we've made significant contributions to our community. We've awarded over $25,000 to local organizations through our grants and donations. We've invested over $35,000 in community programs and events like our hot dogging, our annual golf tournament, Fill-In 5K, and the Madison Heritage Arts Festival. We partnered to build a chimney swift tower at the Marshall Library, earning a Rotary District Award. Our members contributed over $6,000 to the Rotary International Foundation. We partnered with ShelterBox to provide temporary shelter after disasters like the recent hurricane in the Caribbean. We also placed a strong emphasis on youth development. We sponsor an Interact Club and a Rotaract Club at Madison High School and at Morris Hill University. We also offer scholarships to deserving students. And you may have read in the paper recently that we are now the home club to our Rotary District Governor, Connie Molland. And you all know Connie, and she is now the District Governor, which is over a number of clubs in the Western North Carolina region. Rotary membership is based on occupational classifications, and that's just a fancy way to say your job. We'd like to have at least one person from each occupation, so we welcome any new Rotarians and strive to have a wide variety of skills and perspectives involved. Rotary offers a unique platform for business and community network and fostering economic growth in our community. We're inviting everyone to our Discover Rotary event, which is August 29th, to learn more about Rotary and get involved. Commissioner White was at our event last year. We appreciate you attending, and we'll have more information on the one this year coming up. We're also excited to have some exciting fundraisers, including this year's Hot Dog It bike ride this Saturday. I believe our county attorney has done that in years past. So we welcome everybody to participate in those. Finally, our Rotary Club is committed to making a lasting impact on our community through community service. And by working together, we can achieve even greater things. So thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Brad. Congratulations on being elected as president.
Thank you.
Up next on our list, signed up speakers this evening is the district representative for Congress 13th District, and which our Congressman Chuck Edwards, and this is Tommy Lauder. Hey, Tommy.
How you doing, Mr. Chairman?
Fine, sir.
Commissioners, Colonel, staff, I'm honored to be here. Chairman said that my name is Tommy Lauder. I'm the regional field representative for Congressman Edwards. He wanted to make sure I stop by, sends his best, want to make sure that everything's going okay, that possibly can go in Madison County. And I want to take this opportunity to let the residents of Madison County know that in your neighboring county of Yancey, the congressman will be having a town hall next Tuesday night from 6 to 7:30 in the Yancey County Courthouse. Everybody's welcome. If you have concerns or anything you want to have an opportunity to talk to the congressman about, he'll be there from 6 to 7:30 next Tuesday the 16th. And doors are open at 5:30 and we welcome all. So,
And that's the town hall?
That's the town hall, and it's going to be at the Yancey County Courthouse, July 16th, 6 to 7:30.
Okay. Very good.
I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
sir.
Tom. Appreciate it very much. Please give Congressman Edwards our best. All right, and our third and final individual that has signed up this evening for public comment is Mr. David Freeman. Mr. Freeman, please come to the podium. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and representatives. I came here with a couple of questions for you, your representatives here. Where did these people who came to evaluate our homes and our property come from? What state and what city?
So, Mr. Freeman, how public comment works is you talk, we listen.
Okay, well, I feel as if I've been been unjustifiably evaluated on several occasions. Number one, they came there. I've been an Angus farmer for 58 years, and they came there and put a value on my fences. Now, since that time, I have spoken to Angus people in Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, and Alabama, and none of these states have been taxed on fences they use to keep their cattle in. So I don't understand that, and I don't understand the people who come in here that don't understand where they get their food from. And furthermore, I grew up down here on the river in a house that was built around 1917. And it was evaluated before this at $157,000. It has no water, no heat, and no other facilities you would normally have in a home. And the new evaluation went to $424,000. Now I have a hard time adjusting to that. And that's why I asked, where did these people come from? Did they come from someplace that every square foot is evaluated? Or just how did it happen? Because I've been a leader or been a worker in the Republican Party going back when we turned Eli Ponder out of the sheriff's office, and I challenged over 300 voters down here on the island. And we won every seat in the courthouse except the Register of Deeds. And I've never asked anything of the Republican Party, but I do ask to be treated fairly. And that's about all I have to say to each of you and the congregation here tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. So not for any specific response, but for the purpose of just helping to try to get the word out to all of our residents. If there's any kind of a discrepancy, if you believe there's an error or a discrepancy in your tax bill, there is a process in place. You need to contact the tax office, and they will work through whatever discrepancy you think you have. They'll work through that with you, and they will try to resolve that situation. So I would encourage each and every one of our residents that has an issue with the tax revaluation that occurred just recently to reach out to the county tax office. Obviously, there's other people that are concerned, so I would ask that you be patient. They will get to each and every one of you, and we won't move on, leave you behind. But we do recommend that you reach out directly to the tax office with any questions, concerns, or protests. So that would probably be the best way that I think I can summarize that, and we'll move on to the next item. Yeah, we've got some cards right here, and we'll set them down there in front of Bill's spot here if anybody wants to grab one once the night's over. That gives you a little bit of a summary of how to contact people and what to do. So we appreciate each and every one of you for coming out tonight. Thank you for those that chose to make public comment. And we will move on to our next agenda item of the evening, which will be Electus Government Affairs Representative Dodie Rentford, and she is going to give us a state legislative assistance update. And Dodie, welcome, good to see you, and the floor is yours, ma'am. Can you hear us, Dodie? There you go.
Hey there, can you hear me?
We got you now.
I can. Can you not hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I think there's a delay for some reason. Hold on.
I don't know if you hear an echo like we do or not.
I think we've solved that problem. Go ahead. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to see everyone. I appreciate the time to present just an update from everything here in Raleigh. I think you guys are having a better time up there than we've had down here, and it's probably a little cooler as well. I'd like to share my screen with you all. Are the capabilities in place for me to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So give me a second. Let me try to see if I can do that. And tell me if you see, Kim, you may have to come and help me and see if I can get this up there because my screen is being a little testy. You guys see a PowerPoint yet?
No, just you guys so far.
Okay. You see what my PowerPoint is? Where?
At least now we know what Kim looks like, though.
Right there.
There you go.
So, do you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
No, it may say first help, but it's not. Okay. So, I'm going to send this to you, Matt, so you guys can have this, because I know you don't have the time for me to go through everything in specific detail. This is just an overview of short session. I just want to remind everyone that short session is actually not over, even though they're on summer break. What I'm providing for you first is an overview of the adjournment resolution. So we did adjourn back on the 28th of June. We're considering that to be summer break because we did not adjourn sine die. We have an adjournment resolution that is allowing us for members to come back quite a few times between now and the end of the year. I have listed those dates for everyone. The reconvening dates beginning on, tomorrow actually, allows our members to come back for business, but it's very specifically stated what the business can be whenever the members come back. Tomorrow will likely be a skeletal session, but we're going to come back again at the end of July, most likely for veto overrides. And there are going to be a number that we can attempt, and the likelihood that we will achieve that, depending on vacations of what members will be back, pretty likely that we will be successful in overriding some additional vetoes. The governor has actually vetoed another bill as recently as yesterday, and I've got something on here that will show those to you. But the end of this month, we're kind of setting that aside for those override votes. We'll come back again September the 11th. It's really September the 9th through the 11th. They've adjusted that in the adjournment resolution, so I'll modify that before I send it to you, Matt. Could be a potential voting session, could be more veto overrides, come back again in October. The one that's most important for the folks in Madison, because we have unfinished business, that's going to be in November. So November 19th through the 22nd, that's the potential budget vote, or a budget session for a supplemental budget that's unfinished. As you know, and I'm certain that Representative Pless and Senator Heiss have updated you all on this, just maybe not in specific detail, but we don't have a supplemental budget. We're still operating off a continuing resolution from the first year of the biennium. The only thing that we did accomplish in passing for this particular short session as of now are 2 mini budgets. And we don't really like mini budgets, but we have 2 that have been passed and the governor has signed them into law. One is a supplemental budget that will fund the state child care centers. It's a $67 million appropriation, and then another appropriation mini budget that will fund teacher salaries, teacher raises, and also for assistant principals, and personnel. So those were the only 2 budgetary items that were financed so far for the short session or second year of the 2-year biennium. Then there will be a December session going on the 11th of December, and that is the provision that's in the adjournment resolution that allows us to actually adjourn, sign and die. So I just wanted to provide those dates because a lot of folks get confused. I know that maybe you guys don't because you're on the commission and you understand how the process works, but a lot of folks think that we're out and we're done, but we're certainly not. We'll continue to be back in quite a bit between now and the end of the year. What I've done so that you all can be up to date on the business that's allowed. There are 2 different buckets or silos. When we go back for the 10th, the 29th, the 9th of September, the 9th of October, and the session in December, the resolution is very specific as to what can be taken up by the members. And I have all of that listed here for you all. Veto overrides, appointments, confirmations, gubernatorial nominations, anything with litigation, definitely election laws and redistricting, simple resolutions, conference reports, and continuing joint resolutions dealing with adjournment. That's what we can take up on those 4 specific or 5 specific special sessions. With regards to the November session, which is the one that we'll be watching most closely for Madison, will be state budget because we still have appropriations and we're hoping that there will be a little something during this short session supplemental budget for the county. Constitutional amendments, and we do still have 3 out there. 1 was passed and signed into law, or passed and then vetoed. We have 3 others that we'd like to get passed and sent to the governor. Study committee recommendations, some local bills, if they meet the criteria, some matters related to local retirement system and pension, more veto overrides, so on and so forth. So that's what can be taken care of in November should the members want to. And of course, that's strategic because we will be past the November 5th election. We'll have new members coming in, but not till January. But any members who were reluctant to take up budgetary matters because they thought the campaign was dependent on their vote, they can now feel more at ease. Some will come in and say, great, now I don't mind voting for or against. That's something that will obviously no longer be an issue when the November session comes up, beginning the 19th. With regards to the governor's vetoes so far, here are the vetoes for just short session. And some of these, maybe more than most, are of significance to counties and municipalities. So the ones of specific, DOT legislative changes, that has some provisions inside that pertain to Madison, well, any county. The various election law changes, that's the mask bill, but also has some provisions in the end that have to do with campaign contributions from federal campaign PACs or campaign committees, whether or not they can give certain amounts to political candidates and political campaign committees on a state level. So that's been a very contentious bill. Juvenile justice modifications has a lot to do with redefining a delinquent juvenile and how juveniles are prosecuted within the county. Building code regulatory reforms definitely is of significance to the counties, so on and so forth. So those are the governor's vetoes. With regards to overrides, we have successfully overridden 3 bills, or 3 vetoes rather, so far. The DOT legislative changes, the criminal and election law changes, and the juvenile justice modifications. At the end of this month, you'll see more override attempts of those bills that I just shared with you the governor has vetoed. I want to talk just for a second about some of our successes, because we have had some bipartisan successes this year. The constitutional amendment on citizens-only voting, that was a bipartisan effort. The Shalom Act, which is the first bill or legislative effort in North Carolina regarding anti-Semitism. The adjustments to the 2023 Appropriations Act, that's the one that I was telling you about with appropriations for child care centers, state child care centers. I know this is a big relief to everyone. I just wish we would start to see it. But the DMV proposed legislative changes, no one's noticing anything yet, but we're hopeful that next year you'll start to see some improvements with DMV as a result to that bill. And then the NC Farm Act. It's the first time in a very long time that there's been bipartisan support, and that bill has not taken months and months and months to pass both chambers and have the governor sign it. So those are some of our legislative successes. Unfortunately, with successes come shortfalls. So here are some of the shortfalls from this session, pieces of the puzzle that didn't quite come together. House Bill 10 requires sheriffs to cooperate with ICE. We've been trying for that for session after session and still not gotten there. One of the most controversial bills in the Assembly is House Bill 563. It was Senate Bill 3, which is Senator Bill Raymond's medical marijuana bill. He added that language to House Bill 563, which is the hemp-derived consumables. That is a bill to regulate hemp-derived products. In order to try to get his medical marijuana bill passed, Senator Raymond added his language to House Bill 563, and the House refused to take it up. So that is why that bill, or really neither of those bills, moved once they got over to the House. Senate Bill 626, which is very significant to every county. The Child Welfare Social Services DHHS Reforms Bill, that is a heartbreaking bill that really does need to pass, and I'm hopeful that in the long session next year, it finally will get across the finish line. House Bill 982, Faith and Mental Health, would institute a pilot program for certain faith-based institutions to assist in programs for mental health and substance abuse. That one also came close but did not pass. And I worked on this bill, Senate Bill 743, very diligently, and unfortunately it did not pass. And this is one y'all will feel, because I know you've heard quite a bit about the CAB program and the BEAD program for broadband, and all that money that has come that the counties that cannot match. The CAB program is coming to an end. And what are we going to do about, well, not so much the CAB program, but the accessibility program, the federal program for broadband and the match, that came to an end. What was the state going to do to facilitate counties getting the money now that the federal program was coming to a close? Unfortunately, the Senate passed a version of this bill, but the House did not take it up and did not pass it. So we do not have those added protections for the CAB and the BEADS program for broadband. So those were the key bills that we thought were going to get traction and make it through. It did not. Maybe in November, crossing my fingers, definitely next year for the ICE bill, the DHHS bill, and the broadband bill. Appropriations requests for everyone, not just for Madison. None were taken up and approved so far this year, because the two chambers cannot come to an agreement on a budget. And the last week of session, I can't tell you how contentious it was. the two chambers were extremely far apart. Now, that doesn't mean that Senator Heiss and Representative Quest weren't getting along and working together. It just means that the two chambers and leadership were extremely far apart and decided we need to get out of here and cool down. So they've decided to take a 2-month extended break, as they're calling it, a summer break, in the hopes that they can come back in the fall and pass a supplemental budget. But at that point, we're so close to coming back for January session, the hope is that we're going to be able to have a consensus for a very strong long session budget. So that is a very broad, not getting into the weeds, overview of what has happened at the General Assembly this short session. And I feel like I've just said everything very quickly because I know you don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to open it up to any questions that you all might have.
Very good. Thank you, Dodie. Again, gentlemen, any questions for Dodie?
Appreciate the update.
Thank you, Dodie. I think we're great.
Absolutely.
If you'll send me the
It's not
PowerPoint, I'll make sure it gets out to the rest of the commissioners.
Definitely. I'll send it to you here in just a little bit. And I also have for you your latest updated bill tracking chart, because we're tracking over 30 bills for Madison alone. So that will be included in the PowerPoint that I send over to you guys here in just a few minutes.
Awesome. Thank you, Dodie. We appreciate you guys very much.
All right. Thanks, you all.
Thank you, Dodie. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, moving on to our next agenda item this evening. Next up is Misty Varnell, our Ag Extension Agent here at the co-op. And this is going to be in regards to the Youth Voice Report. And I believe she's got a special guest, Ms. Lee Franklin, with her.
Well, good evening. Thank you. We're so grateful. This is our Youth Voice Report. We're grateful for the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners sponsoring this Youth Voice Conference for 4-H and the North Carolina Boys and Girls Club. So we're here as the 4-H representative for Madison County, and it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Lee Franklin. Before I give her the floor, I want to tell you a little bit more about 4-H and share some memories of my time getting to know Lee over the last few years. So our mission, again, is to empower youth to reach their full potential, working and learning in partnership with caring adults. And the educational pillars that we do that are science and agriculture, healthy living, and leadership and civic engagement. So this program is perfect helping us reach that mission. And we're trying to help youth develop life skills to become independent. You'll get to hear Lee's perspective on 4-H in just a minute. And knowing what she was going to say helped give me the freedom to tell you everything I wanted to tell you about Lee. So I specifically remember when she first came to 4-H. It was a 4-H club in Hot Springs. We were outside on the front porch of the Lions Club building when we were just reopening after COVID, and Lee did not say a word. She sat silently, clearly was terrified to be there, no matter all of the very kind people that really wanted to make her feel welcome. But for some reason she came back, maybe because her mom forced her. But eventually we heard, a word here, a word there, and several meetings later she was responding in full sentences. And in 2022, Lee said that she wanted to give a 4-H presentation, and I was shocked. So this is our public speaking program. So she came to the 4-H presentation workshop, and then sometime after that came back here to the extension office to practice her presentation with me and a few other extension staff. And she put her posters on the easel up on that stage, and then silence. And I flashed back, I'm holding my breath. This is the child that couldn't speak. And Lee took a deep breath, and she was a totally different person. We heard this confident young lady speaking with all of the knowledge and passion of somebody that knows all about horses. It was a horse presentation. And from that day forward, Lee hasn't stopped talking. She has absolutely become a leader in our program. So she's participated in numerous projects with 4-H. She's done horses, dogs, dairy heifers, gardening, hiking, and that list goes on and on. She's not shy anymore. She is definitely a leader on the hikes. She's the one leading the group and coming up with silly raps and stories to pass the time and the miles. She talks to the new kid. She makes everybody feel welcome, and really is a joy to have in our 4-H program. So when I think back to our mission, empowering youth to reach their full potential, over these last 4 years, Lee has really been stepping into hers. You're going to hear from her more of her goals in 4-H, and she's striving to help others reach their potential as well. So I'm really excited for her to represent Madison County at the Youth Voice Conference and have that opportunity to develop as a person as well. So now you get to hear from Miss Lee Franklin.
Awesome.
Well, hello, my name is Lee Franklin, and I'm part of Madison County 4-H. My personal experience with 4-H has been a very positive one. I have got to experience so many things I wouldn't have been able to if I wasn't part of 4-H. All it really took was just a little push, and when I first became part of 4-H, I did not want to leave that house that day. My mom had to drag me out of the house that. As Missy mentioned, I would not say a single word. Like I did not want to speak at all. But I'm so glad I did leave the house that day, because 4-H has helped me make friends, gain confidence in myself, and has even helped me with my apprehension to public speaking. In fact, now I've given whole presentations. So far I've given 2, both related to horses. The first one was the year before last about dressage, and I won 2nd place in the 4-H West District competition. This year, I gave a presentation about reining and won 1st place at district, and will be presenting again at state, which I'm really excited to do, but for being completely honest, really nervous as well. My public speaking has gotten so much better, and I strive to keep improving. There are so many things that I want to do in 4-H, and 4-H is helping me do that. Like maybe one day becoming a district officer and expanding my leadership skills beyond Madison County to represent the entire West District 4-H. The district officers are a team of senior 4-Hers who plan and lead district team retreat conferences, preside over events like district activity days, and serve as role models for younger 4-Hers. I look forward to attending the Youth Voice Conference and meeting other people my age from other parts of the state. As I learn more about leadership and communication, I'm excited about learning why people do the things they do, according to their real colors temperament spectrum, and learning how communication and work styles often differ between generations. I'm really looking forward to Youth Voice because all of it just sounds so fascinating to me. I like to say I have an insatiable curiosity about everything and the world around me. I'm really excited for the opportunity to go to the Youth Voice Conference and to continue developing as a leader, and as someone who can serve my fellow 4-Hers and community. Thank you for sponsoring me to attend this conference.
Awesome. Very good.
We have one more favor to ask of you. Lee is required to submit a picture with all of y'all in order to attend the Youth Voice Conference.
Very good. Do you want us behind the desk or in front of the desk?
That is up to you, but let me grab my camera.
All right. Yep. Sounds good.
You want to break your camera, don't you?
It didn't break last year.
That's right. Same bunch.
Where's the conference? Get out there, bro.
It's in Winston-Salem. So you can, would you like me to hold your paper?
Oh, yeah.
I just stand with all of these gentlemen.
The star of the show. Congratulations.
Got it.
All right. What
Thank
kind of horses do
you.
you have, Lee?
I have a miniature horse.
Miniature horse?
Yeah.
Cool. Very good.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, I guess I gotta go first, huh?
Last out first in.
Good luck, Lee. All right, next up on the agenda, for a repeat performance, Brad Guth, Community Developmental Services Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'm here regarding the recommended revisions to the Economic Development Board bylaws. believe you have those in your packet.
We do.
I'll just go through the quick summary that I have on the memo. The bylaws reduce the membership of the board to 7 members. It removes the date and time for board meetings, allowing the board to vote annually on a regular meeting schedule. It allows electronic notice to board members for special meetings, ensuring timely communication. It defines the quorum as a percentage of active members, excluding ex officio members and members with poor attendance from the calculation. And it removes the clerk position from the officer list, clarifying that the county staff will handle all of the clerk's responsibilities. Are there any questions regarding any of these? It is a requirement that the board approve bylaw changes.
I understand. You guys have seen, of course, Brad just gave us a summary. You guys have seen a specific explanation in your packet. Assuming everyone's had the opportunity to review that information. Anybody have any questions for Brad? Y'all still aren't gonna let Garrison vote? All right, it's all good. So at this time, hearing no other discussion, then I would entertain a motion that we approve the bylaw changes as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hensley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chairman Garrison. Is any additional discussion at this time? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? All right, we're good. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
All right, up next is Finance Officer Carrie Ledford. Carrie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, gentlemen. So before you tonight, find for your approval item A, which is Budget Amendment 13. This is the final amendment to record changes to the FY24 budget. You'll see the end-of-year adjustments to the Register of Deeds office recording the additional revenue, adjustments to your health department recording additional year-end grants and changes to state funding, and adjustments to the sheriff's budget to reflect the additional juvenile inmate revenue and correlated expenses. Here too is the recording of the 2 project ordinances adopted at the last meeting, one being the Golden Leaf Site Development Grant, and as well as one for the fairgrounds funding. You'll see the movement from your contingency to the E911 for the first installment of the communication towers project. Also is recording of additional revenue generated by the Corson sales tax in the amount of $60,630.38.
So pop back up.
Back this month. All of these are pending your approval.
It's a pretty, if I remember right, pretty substantial jump on the sales tax.
I just saw the numbers today and it's significantly down this month.
Down this month? Oh, okay. So everybody's splurged last month? All right, very good. All right, at this time I'd entertain a motion in regards to budget amendment number 13. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner White. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hensley. Any discussion?
I just got one question. The $290,000 that come out of contingency, is that $290,000 gonna go back in contingency when we get the 1.5 million from the federal government?
No, because that will be in FY25, the federal, the 1.5 million. This money that is in that I'm pulling from contingency, if you look at last month's budget amendment, I put it into contingency knowing I'd have to move it out to be able to make the payment this month.
Okay, so you put it in and then
I
put
put
it
it, I'm now
okay.
taking it back out this month, right?
All right. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? All right. Budget amendment is approved. Budget amendment number 13 specifically is approved. Up next is our financial reports.
Sure, for June, we are done with FY24, kinda. So we're 100% to FY24. For our general fund, at the time that I created this report, we are at 92.47% of the revenue that could be projected, and our expenses are at 80.5. Those numbers I think will change, and I can give you those updated numbers hopefully next month, when all the invoices have come in and all the new deposits have been adjusted to.
That's one of the casualties of us meeting on the second Tuesday, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I know you don't like that, sorry.
No, it's fine. We're adjusting, we're adjusting.
It's all good. All right. Any questions? No questions regarding financial report? All right, then up next is our item 7C.
Right, and thank you for adding this to the agenda. This is the amendment for most part, just recording grant carryover from last year into this year.
This time I'll entertain a motion to approve budget amendment number 1.
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chairman Garrison. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Any discussion? Hearing none, move to a vote. All in favor? All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, ma'am. Good job, Carrie.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda tonight is our county manager portion of the program, and that's going to be Colonel Rod Honeycutt. Colonel?
All right, gentlemen, the first in tab A is a due out from the last meeting. That is for a tax appeal. I owed you the answer on the question of $18,465. That was earned income that was listed on the individual's federal tax. It is confirmed that it is a rollover from 2020, which moves that individual below the threshold of $33,800 and makes her eligible for the elderly exemption. It also makes her eligible for the reduced waste card. And if you look at the last page in that document, that's the note that I'm recommending to be sent to that resident. I think it's not labeled, but page 24. And in collaboration with the tax administrator, we both are recommending that to remain qualified for this program, this resident needs to provide proof of permanent residence and updated earned income for 2023, no later than 12 August, to remain in the program.
Good.
What did we decide about the
It was,
co-ownership?
it is based off her portion only. It is co-owner, but this is based on her portion only.
Okay.
Good. I think that's probably the best resolution we could have come to in regards, this thing's been dragging on for a long time, and appreciate the tax administrators, work and assistance, and Colonel, definitely appreciate your work and assistance. And at this time, I will move that we approve this recommendation.
Second.
So we got a motion by the chairman, second by Commissioner Briggs. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have just one.
Okay.
Is it fair to say that we're making a legal decision here?
I think you're making two decisions.
And they're both based off legal precedent?
It gives you the discretion to, there's not a clear answer to it. I think there is precedent in the law that would, as we often say in court, you've got a hook that you can hang your hat on.
I think the first decision is based off legal precedent. It happens within a time frame that is not described in general statute. There's no limit to the appeal
Exactly.
process. And the second one is the verification of earned income. And once that verification was complete, I think there's legal and there's a verification.
And I guess a part of that is that there is in fact verification. The legal standard is that is not earned income.
It is not income.
And
It
therefore
was
doesn't
income
count
in
and
another
therefore makes
year.
It was
It's
income,
just shown on
income in
this.
2020, but not income in 2022, the year that the individual applied for the elderly exemption.
She was just entitled to spread that over other years for purposes of tax returns.
And And so really the point of contingency here is did she exceed the deadline to file her additional paperwork, and there's a legal precedent that says that she may in fact have been
In my
extended.
opinion, there's case law that where the Court of Appeals has indicated that the reason we would allow her to do it has been cited in prior cases as a reason.
Very good. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. We'll move to a vote at this time. All in favor? Any opposed? Couldn't see down the other end there, sorry guys. All righty, very good. Moving on to county board appointments, Colonel.
Just to backtrack to that, next time I'd like to have this a little more in advance, the actual findings.
Yes, sir. That was late breaking
No,
last.
I'm just saying, I know we've reviewed a lot of that already, so I would, this is a big deal.
Moving to 8B, County Board vacancies. The first one is the Housing Authority Board, and we do not have an application for that position at this time. So pending your question, guys, I'll move to the next one. The Mountain Area Workforce Development Board, we have a appointment for that one, or a recommendation from that, and that is Karen Cutshaw, and that is based off of Land and Sky recommendation.
And specifically, the Mountain Area Workforce Development Board.
Yes.
That board themselves had recommended Ms. Cutshaw. So first, I guess we probably need to officially for Madam Clerk is table the Housing Authority Board appointment. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hensley, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, that appointment is taken care of there, or is tabled officially till at least the next meeting. Now the Mountain Area Workforce Development Board, we've got the recommendation from the Mountain Area Workforce Development Board for Ms. Cutshaw. Is there a motion? As our representative at Land to Sky, I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hensley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay. All right, Colonel, you got one more, I
Then we'll
think?
move into the Transportation Authority Advisory Board. That's a reappointment of Ms. Linda Campbell for 2 years.
We have her application, and as the board representative on the Transportation Advisory Board, I will say that recommendation came from unanimous vote at the Transportation Authority Advisory Board. So I will make that in the form of a motion that we reappoint Ms. Linda Campbell. Second by Commissioner Briggs. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay.
And gentlemen, last item for those are 2 upcoming appointments, and that's for the Agriculture Board, Agriculture Advisory Board, just for your awareness.
Yes, sir. Very good. Thank you, Colonel. Anything else for you, sir?
So we got 8C, and I'm gonna turn you over to the county attorney for that one. That should be the,
Opioid litigation?
that should be a memorandum of understanding between the county and the school, I believe, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. No, that is correct. It is a property exchange for Madison County, with Madison County Schools.
You should have copies of those proposed documents in front of you. You all of you should be familiar with this. This is the process where I think since earlier this year, you've been trying to put together the piece of property that you want to use for economic development purposes or a conveyance to a potential developer that's coming in, and I use developer, it's a company.
Correct.
And you need a portion of, a little arm of what the school board owns sticks into this property, and you need that. I think it's a little over an acre, and there's been discussions with the school board as to whether the school board would entertain an exchange of land between two government entities that statute allows. We had a delay in actually being able to get a surveyor to locate the property that we wanted to exchange. We were able to do that. There were discussions between board members of both boards as to the school board wanting some assurances that there were going to be protections to the balance of its property, which is where the Child Development Center is. So the memorandum of understanding is an ancillary agreement to the exchange that will set forth what the county will do or be responsible for, location of a privacy fence, trying to ensure that there's good traffic flow around the property, and that as the developer builds his building and locates his things there, that there'll be a separate construction entrance that won't interfere with the Child Development Center. The school board attorney has reviewed the deed that we proposed. They have reviewed the deed that they're going to grant to us, and they seem appropriate. The school board cannot meet until, I believe it is a special meeting for July the 16th. I believe that's the day. So if you find these documents to be appropriate, we can execute these documents tonight. Let the school board execute theirs on the 16th, and then we can exchange those deeds and exchange the memorandum. That will then put this little piece of property that we have, that we need to go along with other property that we own, and then that will allow us to proceed with the venture of the folks coming in. Now, I know some of you have been more involved in working with this project. I think it's Project Gas Out, so I hope I've hit all the high spots, but if I misspoke, certainly fill in those gaps. Or if you have any questions, I'll answer those.
I don't have any questions, Commissioner Garrison.
Appreciate the school board's cooperative partnership. Appreciate, Donnie, what you've done to help facilitate it.
Anybody else have any questions? Bill? All right. So, at this time, you need an approval of the MOU from us.
I need an approval of the MOU, and then I need a separate motion to approve the exchange of the property.
So at this time, I would entertain a motion that we approve the MOUs for it to be sent over to the school board for their acceptance as well. And I will make that in form of motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Any discussion? Hearing none, move to a vote. All in favor? All right. And at this time, I would make a motion that we proceed with property transfer once we proceed with directing the county attorney to move forward with property transfer once the MOU has been accepted and signed by the school board. Is that sufficient?
The exchange.
The exchange, sorry. All right, so I will make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chairman Garrison. Any discussion?
Just note the PIN numbers, 971-6648-413 and 971-677-1953.
Sir? Any additional discussion? Hearing none, move to a vote. All in favor? Thank you very much. We got you good to go, Don.
Agenda, last item on the county manager agenda is the opioid litigation update from
The opioid litigation, I believe last month you all approved to allow me to move forward with approving any future opioid settlements. I received the paperwork on the Kroger settlement, which will be a one-time payment to the county. They've not given us that amount yet. I don't believe have they carried.
I've seen the amount, but I can't tell you what it is.
You
I
can't
have seen the
remember
amount.
what it is, but I have prepared a resolution that would authorize either me or the county manager to proceed with doing that paperwork. If you would authorize Madison County to execute that resolution, and I will hand that over to the clerk for approval.
If I recall correctly, was it 67,000 or something along those lines?
I was thinking 54, but
Okay.
it's something.
All right, no worries. So this time we need a motion to accept the settlement, correct?
Yeah, to participate in the Kroger settlement.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chairman Garrison, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hensley. Any discussion?
Donnie, is there anything we need in that motion to authorize you to do, or does that motion do it?
I put it in, I'll put it actually in the resolution, either for me or the county. I either put it for the county, generically for the county attorney or the county manager to.
Very good.
Very good. So any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Thank you, that completes my portion.
All right. At this time, it concludes all of our scheduled business for this regular meeting for the Madison County Board of Commissioners, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hensley and a second by Commissioner White. How's that? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? We stand adjourned.